Anywhere. Hurry, don't take too long.
Yes.
Quiero amarte de una forma diferente, de otro modo, nunca igual al de otra gente.
Ni akina nani hao?
Kila mtu yanivuta kwake.
Nani?
Vuta. Siwajui.
Wacha kukimbizana na shughuli zako sio na faida.
Kwa hivyo umeamua Pili ndio atakuwa mrithi wako.
Naona hiyo pilipili itakuasha mpaka utosini.
Mimi sio mtoto, kwa hivyo sitashiki kwa maneno.
Mtu hawezi mlaumu kwa makosa yake mwenyewe. No. That is impossible.
Kuna siku ushainiona nikibeba takataka na gari langu.
Ewe. Kwa hivyo mzee amekuwa takataka.
Wataka nini?
Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. I trust you're having a lovely day so far. My name is Jacky Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. Well, we shall be taking a look at news making headlines across the country and also across borders. Well, remember you can interact with us on our Twitter handle at KBC Channel 1 or at Jacky Wambiru. Now, to kick us off, close to half of the residents of Samburu County are under risk of starvation due to the current drought afflicting the area. County Governor Moses Lenol Kulal is urging the national government to address the crisis and cushion those at risk, especially the elderly and children.
Speaking after chairing the Kenya Food Steering Group Committee meeting to ascertain the drought situation in the Samburu County, the County Governor Moses Lenol Kulal said insecurity and the locust invasion has exacerbated the drought situation in the county.
The situation is not very encouraging, especially for the lowlands, Samburu East and Samburu North. We have indications of failure of rains. So far, the livestock body condition is still fair. But with the projections that the situation can worsen towards August, September this year.
He said about 50% of residents of Samburu County, especially elderly people and children below 5 years, need aid in form of relief food, money and nutrition supplements.
Going forward, we may need nutritional support, especially for the under 5s and the elderly. The indication is that 50% or thereabout, on average, may require food intervention, particularly either cash transfer, cash for work, or nutritional support in terms of provision of meals.
In other news, the government has waived the visa requirement for the citizens of the Republic of South Sudan who hold a valid passport issued by their government. Subsequently, the Republic of South Sudan has reciprocated by waiving visa requirements for Kenyans wishing to visit their country.
From the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the waiver of visa requirement for citizens of the Republic of South Sudan takes effect immediately. The ministry says further in line with the EAC Common Market Protocol, the workers of the two partner states will be allowed to accept employment within the territory of each other. The statement further says the move will also enhance cultural ties and strengthen the economy of both partner states by encouraging free movement of persons and labor. According to the Kenya's Foreign Ministry, the two countries will sign an agreement to this effect in the near future. Beatrice Gatonyengetich, Lunchtime News.
Now in the political arena, ANC Deputy Party Leader Ayub Savula has dismissed chances of the party's presidential candidate Musalia Mudavadi working with Deputy President William Ruto in 2022. Speaking in Kakamega County, the Lugari Member of Parliament said the ongoing wrangles in the ruling party was a liability to Ruto's presidential bid. Meanwhile, nominated MP David Sankok has rubbished calls for postponement of the 2022 general elections.
ANC Deputy Party Leader Ayub Savula, who was in Lugari, demeaned chances of Musalia Mudavadi working with Deputy President William Ruto in 2022.
Sisi tungesupport jamii wakali ni bazamu mko mbele kidogo na William Ruto, lakini mnatashwishi. Your house is not in order. Na mimi naeleza spare part yenye tuko nayo, because your house is not in order. The spare part is Musalia. Spare part ni Musalia. Kwa sababu kuna Jubilee, Uhuru anafukuza Ruto huko. Wamekosana, ndoa imevunjika Jubilee. Hiyo ndio shida.
ANC, Wiper and Ford Kenya have refused to back ODM leader Raila Odinga's presidential candidacy. The Lugari MP says Musalia Mudavadi is the best bet in the One Kenya alliance.
Sisi ANC tuko imara, our presidential candidate ni mmoja tu, Musalia Mudavadi. Sasa wao wili nani wamejipanga? Hii nyumba imeharibika na sisi tuko straight. Mutafuta wenye uko straight ama nyumba imeharibika.
Meanwhile, nominated MP David Sankok has dismissed chances of postponing 2022 general elections.
Our constitution is supreme. Therefore, mujipanga, my friend. There will be an election on August 9th, 2022. Because it is not Sankok saying, it is not anybody else saying, it is the constitution of Kenya which is supreme.
Elsewhere, Mount Kenya Youth Association has called upon all political parties to embrace youth agenda in their manifestos. Association's chairperson Gedhuta Motahi says youth agenda has been left out for long, despite the youth being the majority of citizens.
In Kenya, we have over 70 political parties, and out of these 70 political parties, we have not seen even one of them that has taken any position in ensuring that young people participate in the politics of the day.
Kevin Washira, Lunchtime News.
Now, away from matters politics, Kaya elders from the Mijikenda community in the coastal region have embarked on a mission to champion for unity in the community. The elders, who held special prayers for unity, said that the divisions among the political leadership has affected the region's growth and development.
Section of Kaya elders from the Mijikenda community leading special prayers. According to the elders, this is part of a series of prayers which are aimed at appeasing the ancestors and seeking lasting peace and unity for the community.
Kongamano la leo limeleta pamoja miji yote 9. Kongamano hili linaleta wapwani wote pamoja, tukiwa na kaunti zingine ambazo ziko ndani ya pwani yetu, lakini mbali na kuwa si za Mijikenda, lakini tunataka kongamano hili lijumuishe kuleta umoja wa wapwani wote kwa ujumla.
Tataki kwenza kusaidia. Lakini
the elders also decried the political divisions in the coastal region, which they say has derailed development in the region.
Tuko na makamu wa rais ama ma-deputy president ambao wametawala nchi yetu, nafikiri ni takriban ya 11. Na hakuna hata mmoja ni wa kutoka pwani. Maraisi ni wa rais 4, tunaelekea 5. Hakuna hata rais mmoja ametoka jimbo letu la pwani. Ninapeana wito huu kwa sababu kule kutengamana kwetu sisi ndio kunafanya hatuwezi kupata nafasi zile.
Nasi tunawaambia viongozi wa pwani wawezi kuja chini ya wazee, manake sasa pwani ni kama inapotea. Kwa hivyo tunasema viongozi wote, na kama hawataheshimu wazee, basi itafikia wakati watakumbuka kweli kulikuwa na wazee.
Tumeshasema hapa kuwa sasa kule kushikana kwetu mikono, tunaomba kuwa iweze hata kutuletea mwaka ujao viongozi wale ambao watatusaidia, viongozi wale ambao wataheshimu makaya yetu na mila yetu, viongozi wale ambao watatudhamini, viongozi wale hawatawacha wazee wetu wakaya hawe hivi ambavyo mnawaona.
They also vow to work together to reclaim all kayas which were lost to land grabbers.
Lease liliisha tangu 20th January 2013, lakini mpaka leo unakuta maeneo bado yamezidi yanakaliwa na lease ilikwisha, badala turegeshewe ardhi zetu bado zinaendelea kukaliwa. Kongamano hili litakuwa ni jukwaa la kutetea makaya yetu. Makaya yameporwa, makaya mengine yanaelekea kuangamia kwa sababu kaya zilitengwa, lakini kwa kutokuwa hazina hati miliki, watu wamepata fursa ya kuweza kujiingiza na kuteka nyara makaya zetu, kupora.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Safin Aching Ouma.
Still on politics, 2022 presidential candidate Mukisa Kitwe has hit out at Deputy President William Ruto, accusing him of perpetuating politics of dishonesty in his campaigns. Kitwe cautioned Kenyans to be wary of the hustler narrative promoted by Ruto and his allies, terming it a self-seeking venture.
Muhisa, who was leading a consultative meeting with opinion leaders in Trans Nzoia County, accused Deputy President William Ruto of promoting a selfish agenda through his bottom-up economic model in his bid to ascend to power.
Ama ni magumu, you can give them blanket expressions. Naweza kuita bottom-up economics. Wanakuuliza unamaanisha nini? No, that's not telling us about the problems of Kenya. The problems of Kenya are why is Kenya not competitive.
Muhisa says the deputy president is part of a Jubilee administration and cannot escape blame for any ills perpetuated by the administration. The former Secretary General of the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development argues that Ruto's bottom-up model lacks clear policies to restore the economic glory of the country.
You cannot have national solutions if you do not understand national problems. Why are these things not talked about in Kenya politics? Because many of the people want to offer you leadership have no capacity to deal with those issues.
Muhisa has promised to announce the party he will use in next year's general election soon. In the meantime, 3 MPs from Tana River County have rallied area residents to support the deputy president's presidential ambition. The 3 say Ruto's hustler narrative will be the solution to the economic problems facing majority of Kenyans.
Tunataka kuleta Ruto hapa, tuambie Uhuru Kenyatta, mimi nimejenga Uhuru 2002, nimejenga yeye 2007, 2013, 2017. Leo namuita Uhuru kuja tujenge Ruto pamoja.
Na sisi watu ya Wilbaro tunasema wale mahustlers ambayo wanasukuma mikokoteni, wale wako huko chini wanahangaika, mara hii wataongoza Kenya.
Agenda ya hustler ni bottom up.
A family in Kakamega is appealing for justice after the Akin died while in custody of Area Assistant Chief. Now the family says the deceased had been arrested for allegedly trading illicit brews.
The family have refuted claims by the Assistant Chief and Nyumba Kumi team that their family member died of intoxication.
Aliondoka kama anatembea. Kufika ofisini kuna pombe ambao zinashikwa zinawekwa huko. Sasa tunashangaa hata polisi wakati wanashika mtu kuna store yenye ambao wanaweka pombe na kuna rumandi ambao wanaweka watu.
They insist the deceased never engaged in criminal activities and drug trade, accusing the local police of trying to cook evidence to cover the murder.
Yeye sio mwizi. Pombe ziko kwa hiyo ofisi ambao zinashikwa na walimwekelea huyu ndugu wetu hata bangi wakamwekelea pombe.
They now say it has to shoulder the burden of caring for children left behind by their dead kin.
Kama angepelekwa kwa sheria angeuawa. Sheria ingemhukumu, kama angefungwa angerudi kulinda watoto yake.
Reporting for Lunchtime News, I am Yusuf Hilo.
And on education matters, 62 students from vulnerable backgrounds in Mandera North have benefited with full scholarships courtesy of the Constituency Development Kitty. The kitty paid 3 million shillings to ensure the learners continue with their education unhindered.
It's a relief for 62 students from vulnerable families in Mandera North constituency after the government offered them full scholarship worth 3 million shillings through the National Constituency Development Fund Kitty. Mandera North Member of Parliament Bashir Abdullahi saying that more funds would be allocated in the coming financial year to ensure no learner misses education.
Wasichana yetu, watoto yetu, wavulana yetu, tunawatakia kila laheri waende wasome, hakuna kufukuzwa. Lakini pia nataka kusema baadhi ya kawaida ile ambayo tumepeana overall ya all bursaries this time ni 34 million.
Kwa serikali amenisaidia sana na ninatarajia kufanya vyema katika masomo ya shule ya upili na nitafanya bidii.
Pia ningependa kumwambia wanafunzi ambao walipewa scholarship, full scholarship kwa mwaka 4 years, ningependa wawe wanafunzi ambao wanajitahidi kisabuni.
Area MCA Abdikula appealed to the Teacher Service Commission to deploy more teachers to the area, which was hit hard following the mass exodus of non-local teachers from the area due to insecurity.
Ni jukumu ya serikali kuu wa TSC wahakikishe watoto wale wanasomeshwa kule shuleni. Sisi kama watu wa Mandera County tumepata pigo sana.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Well, on that note, we take a short break. Don't go too far. We'll be back in a jiff.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Silly girl, listen to me. You have to take the birthing charm with you. Just look at your knee. He's tall and strong because of it.
She was your responsibility. I asked you to take good care of her while I was gone. You just let her go? How did you run away?
I have to go out, or I'm gonna go crazy. Right. He asked me to tell you, when you're bored, you can play with them, just to kill time.
Thank you so much, and pass my gratitude to the Crown Prince.
Welcome back. Now, still on education matters, education stakeholders in the country have been urged to embrace vocational training as a means of ensuring youths are self-employed. The chairman of the Institute of Human Resource Management, Joseph Onyango, said the preference for white-collar jobs was no longer sustainable and has contributed to the growing population of unemployed youth. He was speaking at a Vocational Center during a 3-day curriculum vitae and interviewing skills training organized by IHRM.
That many of us Kenyans, traditionally, we come from a history of we want your child to go to school, to be a doctor, a lawyer, engineer, a teacher, and all those formal. While we say that is very important for growth, but we have also come to the recognition that that is not all, that we are working much towards employability and the skills that need to be impacted to the young adults about them being self-employed.
Now, the Kenya Copyright Board is on the spot over non-payment of royalties to musicians. A section of music artists from Busia County accused the Chief Executive Officer Sigay for giving them a blind eye, given that most of them have been hard hit by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Led by Busia branch chairperson Vincent Ongidi, the musicians from Busia County alleged that since 2020, artists at grassroots level have not been paid a single cent by the Kenya Copyright Board.
Tangu 2020 yanze hatujawahi kulipwa pesa yoyote wanamuziki wa chini hapa hivi.
The music artists now want all their dues paid, accusing the leadership of incompetence, frustrations and mismanagement of collective management organization.
We demand that pesa ambayo umecollect urudishe hiyo pesa, ufunge hiyo account ile ya pamoja hiyo na ulipe wanamuziki pesa yao.
They are now appealing for the government's intervention.
Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta apate kujulisha kwamba zile pesa alitangaza milioni 100 ili wanamuziki wapate. 95% ya wanamuziki hawakupata hizo pesa.
Tunataka pesa yetu iletwe na sisi tuletewe pesa yetu.
Away from that, residents of Mutindo village in Mandera sub-county have decried the poor learning condition of Mutindo Primary School, a situation they claim is affecting the performance of pupils. Calling upon the government to look into the matter, parents have complained that the location of the school, which falls at the border of Mandera South and Mandera North constituencies, has worked to their disadvantage as some essential services does not reach them.
Lamented the lack of electricity and water, despite Mutindo Primary School being adjacent to the Kiambere Dam, which is about 3 kilometers away. They added that a major challenge was that pupils wake up early in the morning to fetch water from the crocodile-infested dam before going to class, saying that many have lost their lives and those who survived, their performance was poor.
Kuna dam ambayo iko huko ya Kiambere Dam, unapata wanafunzi wanaamkia kuchota maji mapema.
Tunataka tuletewe stima, ndio hatuna stima, watoto wanasoma wakiwa kwa giza. Na ndeski tunataka tufaindiwe na ndeski facilities, ndio watoto wanakaa wakiwa wengi kama wanasukumana.
Speaking during an education day at Mutindo Primary School, Jacky Wambiru, the BOM chair, appealed to the concerned leaders to support the school, saying that despite the challenges of water and lack of electricity, pupils have excelled and will do better if offered the necessary support.
Tumeanza kucontribute pesa as alumni tuweze ku renovate several classes. Then we are also asking the CDF also through the office of the MCA na Simbio ya Kiambere waona vile wanaweza kutusaidia ku renovate some of our classes.
Kithaka called upon the former pupils of the school to come together and encourage pupils to better their performance despite the numerous challenges. Reporting for Lunchtime News, I'm Amboyo Tiende.
The National Environmental Complaints Committee has raised concern over the rate of environmental pollution in Kitengela town and its environs. According to the committee, the situation is dire due to mushrooming factories turning the once fastest growing Kitengela town into an epicenter of pollution. National Environmental Complaints Committee Secretary Dr. John Chumo said the committee has received complaints from residents of massive environmental pollution. The committee highlighted that the area has inadequate sanitation, open drainage, food and water contamination that may result to health risks.
Problem is that the town requires planning, because we find, for example, that we have industrial development coming, we have factories coming up. At the same time, we have residential buildings coming up. We are also having other developments also coming around. And therefore, there is need for the county government to ensure that proper fiscal planning is done in this area.
Adding that the populous town lacks a sewer line as most residential and commercial buildings use septic tanks for waste, attributing to open drainage to the deplorable state.
Problem of change of user, because it was agricultural and now again maybe it went to residential. From residential it's now going to industrial, and you realize, for example, we have complaints of Wananchi saying that there is a factory that has been is coming up or is being put up in a place and requires obviously after if EIA is not fully done, then the problem will be in the next 5 to 10 years people will be complaining that there is a factory that is polluting the environment around.
The committee recommended the implementation of proper planning and public policies in management systems to address the situation.
Na tuombe county government waanzishe kama inawezekana, because it is the right of these people living around, so that they can have a sewerage system, so that they can have water that is actually clean, quality water. Otherwise, if we continue with the kind of septic tanks that we have, we are actually endangering people's lives.
Across borders, Tunisia's President Kais Saied has sacked the Prime Minister and suspended Parliament after nationwide mass protests on Sunday. President Saied, who was elected in 2019, announced he was taking over.
The government's handling of a massive recent spike in COVID cases has added to general unrest over the nation's economic and social turmoil. President Kais Saied announced he was taking over. His supporters erupted in celebration, but opponents in parliament immediately accused him of staging a coup. And in London, 2 hospitals have asked patients to stay away after their emergency departments were hit by flooding on Sunday. East London's Whip Cross and Newham hospitals urged patients to use other A&Es for their urgent care, and ambulances are being redirected. Torrential rain has caused severe flooding in homes, roads and stations.
Well, on that note, we take a short break. Up next is business news.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bidi yako ya chini zaidi, kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bidi yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bidi ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
Get the VIP access to the best shows on KBC Channel 1. We have something different, something special to spice you up. Get ready for new, exciting and captivating dramas. Movies.
I love the smell.
Comedy.
I went to the Popos.
Drama.
Will he assault the Queen in my house, in my presence?
News, sports and so much more. Do the things that make you happy on KBC Channel 1.
Ni akina nani hao?
Kila mtu ananivuta kwake.
Nani anakuvuta?
Siwajui.
Wacha kukimbizana na shughuli zako sio na faida.
Kwa hivyo umeamua Pili ndo atakuwa mrithi wako. Naona hiyo pilipili itakuasha mpaka utosini. Mimi sio mtoto, kwa hivyo sitashikwa maneno.
Mtu hawezi mlaumu kwa makosa yake mwenyewe. No, that is impossible.
Kuna siku ushainiona nikibeba takataka na gari langu.
Ewe. Kwa hivyo mzee amekuwa takataka.
Wataka nini?
Always be up to date by logging onto our website for both local and international news. You can also know what is happening in the business and sports world. Get to know our TV programs, careers and vacancies. For more details, log on to our website www.kbc.co.ke.
Back. Now let's talk business. Shares in Tencent have fallen after China ordered the technology giant to end exclusive music licensing deals with record labels around the world. The move, which is aimed at tackling the company's dominance of online music streaming in the country, also fined Tencent $77,000 for unfair practices in the online music market. Here are the details of these and other stories from across the globe.
Which controls more than 80% of China's exclusive music streaming rights, and its affiliated businesses have been told that they can no longer engage in exclusive deals over music rights and must dissolve any existing agreements within 30 days. They can, however, retain exclusive deals with independent artists as they expire after 3 years. Tencent and Tencent Music Entertainment say they will abide by the ruling given by the State Administration of Market Regulation and comply with the requirements laid out. Tencent bought China Music Corporation in 2016, giving it right to more than 80% of all music tracks in the market and an unfair advantage over rivals, the State Administration of Market Regulation said in its ruling. Meanwhile, Bitcoin rose as much as 12.5% to hit $39,850, its highest since mid-June during the Asia session. Brokers say the remarks of Tesla Foundation Elon Musk were enough to finally lift the market from the ground since the May plunge. Bitcoin was last up 8% at $38,064, putting it within sight of resistance around June's $41,341 peak just a week after it was testing support at $29,500. With a record of $1.2 billion in shorts liquidated over the past 24 hours, the outlook and momentum for the week ahead is positive. Finally, Russia's 5th generation light multi-purpose fighter made its debut at 15th International Aviation and Space Salon. Russia's state-owned corporation Rostec unveiled the 5th generation single-engine fighter targeting overseas market at the air show. The shape of the fighter is completely different from another Russian 5th generation fighter Su-57. The former has a larger wing sweep angle and can be used in air-to-air or air-to-ground combat. This air show also exhibited a number of new products that Russian aircraft manufacturers have developed in recent years that appeared before the public for the first time.
Innovation and adaptability have become the way of life for restaurants under COVID-19 restrictions in South Africa, with drive-in dining services gaining in popularity across the country. The pub is one of the many establishments that have adopted its dining methods as a way of keeping their doors open and retaining staff. Here are the details of these and other stories making headlines across Africa.
The restaurant industry has been one of the most affected in South Africa, as tighter restrictions in place mean that establishments may not accommodate more than 50 people inside at one time. The Zuveng Pub and Restaurant was one of the busiest restaurants in Soweto just before the COVID-19 pandemic hit. Tebogo Firi, owner of the Zuveng Pub and Restaurant, believes that it has been survival of the smart test since South Africa's initial lockdown came into effect, as his restaurant's new innovative approach enables their patrons to be served in their cars. The pub and restaurant owner has now expanded his space to include other services such as food deliveries and hair care services. Meanwhile, Zambian President Edgar Lungu has commissioned the Kafue Gorge Lower Hydropower Station, expected to add an additional 750 megawatts of power to the national grid. President Lungu said the hydroelectric power project is testimony to Zambia's commitment in ensuring that the country's electricity needs are met. He said the investment will not only boost the country's social and economic development, but also allow it to become an electricity hub within the Southern African region. As one of the projects under the Belt and Road Initiative BRI, the design and construction of the hydropower station were all completed by Chinese enterprises. Finally, the first direct commercial flights between Morocco and Israel have been launched following a deal to normalize relations between the two countries at the end of the last year. 2 Israeli airlines are each carrying passengers from Tel Aviv to Marrakesh in the first of what are regularly scheduled flights. Israel and Morocco agreed last December to upgrade diplomatic ties and relaunch direct flights as part of a deal brokered by the United States that also included recognition of Moroccan sovereignty over Western Sahara.
Fishing and the use of unlicensed equipment is threatening fish stock at Lake Naivasha. Fish production at the freshwater lake in Nakuru County has dropped by 60% according to the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute. Nakuru County is mulling over a proposal to ban fishing in Lake Naivasha.
One of the largest freshwater lake in Rift Valley is facing a bleak future. Years of unregulated fishing and pollution is threatening the future of Lake Naivasha. Fish production has dropped by more than 60% in the lake, with the government planning to impose a ban on fishing at the lake.
Na ile scientific report ambayo tutapata kutoka Kemfree ya kusema ni boats ngapi ambazo zinaweza kukaa katika lake, ile tunaita carrying capacity, ndio tusifanye kazi ambayo ni unsustainable.
Experts have warned that the catch could drop further in the coming months due to uncontrolled fishing, mainly in breeding zones. According to the Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute, the most affected species is tilapia, with traders forced to double their prices as demand continues to rise. Nakuru County Executive Committee Dr. Immaculate Maina is also attributing the crisis to the high number of unemployment. Naivasha Sub-County Commissioner Mutua Kisuli noted the ongoing crackdown in the lake targeting illegal fishermen had borne fruits. The chairman Lake Naivasha Boat Owners Association David Kilo warned that the fisheries sector in the lake was facing collapse due to the use of undersized fishing nets.
Miezi miwili ambayo imepita tuna matokeo mazuri, usalama umeimarika, visa vya uharibifu katika ziwa umeenda chini, na nafikiria mumeona hata vijana wakijaribu kuandamana ili kusema kwamba wale coast guards waondolewe.
Brian Munyoki, Lunchtime News.
And on matters sports, Jeffrey Lurch and Colin Sanjera scored 2 tries as National Rugby Sevens team Shuja got the campaign off to a losing start despite giving a good account of themselves, going down 19-14 to the USA Eagles in their opening game of the Tokyo 2020 Olympics earlier today in Japan.
Kenya got their Tokyo 2020 campaign.
Carly Niles and fast points for the USA down the right wing with the Mike Friday court side doing well to leverage penalties and earn possession back for a line out on Kenya's 22. Martin Youssef got USA second, but Kenya was able to break through Collins Injera on the left wing with Eden Aguero adding the extras for 12-7 at the interval. Kenya was back at it in the second half with Jeff Luch collecting a 7 and thought he had more points on the board through Mbaka, but Luta was there to break it up for a 5-meter scrum. Strong defense plus Carlin Iles and Madison Hughes combination for a break free landed the USA at that try for the day to win the game.
Not the start we wanted. Now everything didn't work as we planned.